Ferrari World is located in the heart of Abu Dhabi, and with it being home to the world's fastest roller coaster and many other great attractions, it is easy to see why it is so popular. However, today, by using the categories thrill, queueline, theming and fun, we're going to review and rank every ride at the park. Starting off with a bang for our first attraction on the list, we have got no other than Formula Rossa, the world's fastest roller coaster. And where do I begin when talking about this ride? As if I was going to talk about every great part, we would quite literally be here all day. But to start from the beginning, as soon as you have queued up in what I must say is a long and very themeless queue line, you will board your very own racing car, and from here on out complete that famous 0 to 150 miles per hour launch in a matter of 4 seconds, and then head around a series of fun bank turns as well as plenty of airtime hills. So yeah, this ride is not for the faint of heart, but nor is it a ride that you will ever forget, and therefore we're going to give it a combined score of 28. If you are looking for a little bit less speed, but still the fun and excitement of a roller coaster, then do not fear, as we have flying aces, which, as you can probably guess by the name, you will take off on a flight like no other. Nevertheless, before we do begin to talk about the ride experience itself, I have got to talk about the queue line, as unlike Formula Rossa, this line fully immerses you in the storyline with all of the props as well as the screens. And wow, did the park ace the ride too, ding ding, with it featuring an upwards launch, uninverted loop, the only inversion in fact at the park, as well as plenty of twists, turns and airtime hills, causing even the biggest thrill seekers in the group to put their hands in the air and give it a score of 35. Next up on our all rides list, we have Turbo Track, and despite this ride being very short, and I mean very short, with it only lasting for 20 seconds, it sure is sweet. Situated within the centre of the dome, from the moment you walk into the park, you will be met by this incredible looking roller coaster with all of those creative screens on the side. But it does not stop there, as once you have boarded in either the forwards, backwards or facing each other seats, you will launch over what I must say is one of the greatest moments of airtime ever created, and then complete an upward spiral. So if this, as well as the drop back again, does not make you want to ride, I honestly do not know what will, and therefore I'm going to give it a combined score of 33. Who here is competitive? Well, if you said yes, then you must take a ride on Fiorano GT Challenge, because this fun family roller coaster has taken the words competitive to the next level. Now, with this ride being based on that famous GT course, as far as this ride layout goes, it is okay but not amazing, with it featuring some basic hills, turns, as well as 4 launches at a speed of 60 miles per hour. Yet for me, what makes this ride so great is the fact that it duels. Yes, you heard me right, it duels, meaning that whilst you head around the track, there will be another car racing you from above, below and the side. How awesome is that? And therefore we're going to give it a final score of 25. If you are scared of heights, then skip to the next ride, as we now have Turbo Tower, and standing at a height of 13 meters, this family drop tower is definitely not for the faint of heart. However, nor is it your normal drop tower, as once you have boarded the gondola, not only will you rise to the top, see an amazing view across the park, and then drop back down again, but in addition to this you will also spin and bounce, causing your hearts to quite literally race. Ding ding. But all awful jokes aside, with its normally very short queue too, this is definitely a must-do attraction at the park, and so this tower will be dropping a score of 15. It is time for our final roller coaster on the list, as we have Formula Rossa Junior, and no matter whether you are looking for experience the world's fastest coaster on a miniature scale, or just another fun family attraction at the park, then this ride is definitely for you. However, it is not all easy racing, as along your 2 laps you will experience a lift hill, bank turns, airtime hills, as well as a small helix at a speed of 25 miles per hour, which, even though it is 125 miles per hour less than the real thing, it makes it perfect for both adults and kids alike, and therefore with all of this and so much more, we're going to give it a score of 19. Get ready for takeoff, as our next attraction on the list, Flying Wings, will test your piloting skills on a fun and enjoyable flat ride. Themed towards the flying aces, similar to Formula Rossa Junior, you will be able to experience a miniature version of this much beloved ride, with you and up to one other person being able to jump aboard a plane, which will not only spin but rock too. And we are still not at the best part yet, as by using the bar in front of you whilst you are spinning around, by pushing it forwards you will rise higher, meaning that you can create your very own experience, depending of course on your thrill level. Therefore, when taking into account all of this, we're going to give it a final score of 15. Next up on our all rides list, things are starting to get a lot more crazy, as we have Speedway Race, and despite this ride not looking like a lot, with it only taking you around in circles, trust me when I say it definitely packs a punch. However, before we do begin to talk about the ride itself, with it being a very common flat ride from all around the world, if you are planning to head to the park on a busy day, then we would suggest trying the more unique rides first. Nevertheless, if you do get a chance to ride, you will definitely not be disappointed, with that whip honestly feeling like nothing you have ever done before, and therefore we are also going to give this ride a score of 15. Have you ever wanted to drive your very own Ferrari 250 California? Well, of course you do, and on Italia you can do just that. Now, with this ride being very similar to such attractions as Autopia at the Disney parks, once you have jumped aboard your Ferrari, you will be able to put your foot to the metal and drive around a guided track. However, unlike Autopia, you will explore mini Italy, seeing all of the famous landmarks from Amalfi Coast to the Roman Colosseum to of course Maranello, and so we have to give this incredibly unique but also incredibly fun ride for the entire family a final score of 16. You can't have a Ferrari theme park without a racing ride, and Ferrari World Abu Dhabi is no exception, as we have Junior Grand Prix, where any of those younger racers out there can step aboard one of the coolest go-karts that I have ever seen to race around a specially designed track. However, make sure to drive with caution, as along your way not only will other cars try to overtake you, but the track is designed with many twists and turns along the way to throw you off course. But as long as you keep your eyes on the road, you will definitely become the champion on Junior Grand Prix, which we're going to score 20. Do not fear, older audience, as if you thought that Ferrari World only built one go-kart track, well then you would definitely be dead wrong, as for the bigger thrill seekers out there, we have Karting Academy, which is not only bigger but faster too. Spanning across a total of 290 metres, full of many sharp twists, turns and straights. From the second you see this ride, I guarantee you that you will want to head straight on it, and therefore with this working on a first come first served basis, we would suggest signing up as early as you can if you want to avoid the disappointment. But wow, if you get to take this drive, it really will be an experience that you will never forget, and therefore we're going to give it a score of 22. It is time for an interactive shooting game, as next up on our list we have Benno's Great Race, and out of all of these types of rides that I have ever been lucky enough to see, this has got to be one of the coolest, and here is why. Now for starters, the queue line and theming is amazing, with you being able to explore the park's mascots, Benno's home and workshop all before boarding the ride itself. And on ride does not disappoint either, with your adventure continuing with many theming pieces, animatronics, screens, and of course lots of mini games throughout, which by using the interactive spanner you can gain points and see who gets the highest score in your group. Therefore it would be wrong of me not to give this ride a final score of 29. From joining Benno for an interactive laser game to joining him for a high speed chase, our next ride, Speed of Magic, will take you on a race like never before. Similar to many of your modern day dark rides, once you have completed the pre-show section and boarded the ride vehicle itself, you will bounce, rock and spin around many screens and scenery pieces, bringing you throughout the storyline. Nevertheless, what I particularly love about this ride is that it is perfect for the entire family, as with all of the fun characters throughout, crazy locations and problems which you have to solve along the way, no matter who you are or what you are planning to do on your visit, you will fall in love with this ride, and so we are going to give it a score of also 29. Have you ever wondered what it must feel like to fly across Italy? Well, if so, you can do just that on our next ride, Viaggio in Italia, the park's flying theatre. And trust me when I say, despite these rides looking like a rocking chair in the air, with all of the special effects and movements used throughout, this ride type is honestly one of the best attractions at the park. And therefore I would personally never miss an opportunity to take flight. And out of all the rides that I have ever seen, this has got to be one of the best, with not only you getting to see a bird's eye view across many iconic attractions and landmarks, but also the beautiful sights of Italy and a Ferrari which heads around too, which is pretty cool if you ask me. And that is why I am going to give this ride a combined score of 20. Get your sick bags ready, as next up on our list we have Tyre Twist, where you can either have a really nice leisurely ride or spin to your heart's content, and here is how. Once boarded your car, which I must say looks amazing with it being a humongous Ferrari tyre, like many of your classic T-Cut rides, you will spin around on a disc that will then also spin around on another disc. However, by using the wheel in the centre, you can, of course, if you are brave enough to do so, make your tyre spin faster and faster and faster to the point where you literally do not know where you're going. But comment down below, how fast would you spin on tyre swing? the ride, which we're going to be scoring 19. After reviewing and ranking over 15 rides and almost losing my voice, we have made it to our final attraction on the list, made in Maranello, and what a ride to end on, as this more educational style attraction will take you through the process of making the famous Ferrari car, featuring everything from the development phase to making to the painting to even my favourite part, the testing. From the moment you board this ride and the commentary begins, you will literally be godsmacked with all the special effects, models and screens used throughout till you get off. Therefore, in my opinion, with all of this and so much more, a trip to Ferrari World is no way near complete without a ride, and so I am going to give it a final score of 27. There you go, we have just ranked and reviewed every single ride at Ferrari World, and if you did enjoy, please consider commenting, liking and subscribing, and if you want to see every single number per category, we have got it all down in the description below. Nevertheless, with all that said, there is only one thing left to say. That is it from me, Tom Derrick, from Theme Park Coasting, and I will see you for our next video. Goodbye.